And I know Mickey said he was going to help me count or learn how to count. Then he does it backwards. Let's wait for. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should hit that share button.
Say I should share it too, right?
Yeah. Those you know. I mean, I only shared to two groups, honestly. One because it's hilarious because they don't like me there, and the other because Wintis would hurt me. Yeah. And put everything in capitals. Be sure you would fail me. So you excited? Be out of school?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, I can understand that. Like I always thought teachers just lived at school.
I mean,
Kind of
we
do.
do until the last day, and then we all run out.
I could see you running out, undoing that tie, throwing it at your car. Nope, I'm done.
No, actually, this is what I wore to work today. You see, I got on a Stranger Things t-shirt.
Damn. Like, not at his school.
Yeah. I had a graduation ceremony last night that was great. It was a wonderful ceremony.
Yeah. My youngest has got another week left of school at hers right now.
Mm.
I don't envy her because she only gets like a month and a half break.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, which means I don't get to sleep in, but a month and a half.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm really liking what y'all got going. It's been about a month since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm moving up in here, man. I like it.
Mickey's got the lights and stuff.
I see.
I can't remember what our next step was going to be, but it looks like we got 5 people. Oh, Mama Quill. I always love that she's come here. Like she's been here since day one. I called that earlier. So we got you here, and it's less as a representative of the school board.
Right.
And it's more of you, a man who grew up in Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Your family has worked for Flint.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're a teacher. You are literally the product of Flint. Mm-hmm. What everyone should think of when they think of Flint. Not you as the person, but you as the idea.
Okay.
You know, and you've got a very special perspective of it because you are now on the school board. Mm-hmm. And from the school board, you have to work at times with the city, at times with the county, at times with other school systems around here. You've got kind of like an eagle-eye view of politics in Flint, right? So what's been striking you the most lately?
Honestly, I'll just tell you this. Before I became a school board member, an elected official, mm-hmm. I didn't realize, like I called myself one of those people that kind of stayed tuned to what was going on. I was hip to what was going on. It's one thing to be a civilian or on the outside looking in, but it's a completely different ball game when you're working with it and it's you that's here, and sitting in this position, sitting in this seat, making these decisions, you know what I mean? No matter how tough they are, because there's a lot of tough decisions that have to be made. So it's just, it's still, even though, and I still hate to say it, but it's still true. I'm still a new board member. Was it 6 months now?
Yeah.
That I've been on the board.
Well, you were sworn in December, so like 7 months ish.
Right, 6 months as the president. You know what I mean? So mm-hmm. That's still a learning process. Me being a board member is a learning process, but me being so-called, the leader of the board is a whole different ballgame itself. When I started studying Robert's Rules, I was not studying Robert's Rules as the person who was going to be conducting the meeting. I was studying Robert's Rules as a person who was going to be following Robert's Rules, not enforcing them. You know what I mean? So, roll with the punches. I ain't gonna sit and complain about it. It's, it is what it is, and
Yeah. I see a misstep every once in a while, but that's to be expected. Number one, this is like the first time in your life where you're having to deal with Robert's Rules. Period.
Well, yeah, not necessarily. Yeah, but no, but yeah. In a real life setting,
outside of a classroom, because you said you have your class run with Robert's Rules.
No, I have a particular student that I speak with. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I said it he graduated last night from the city. He's a 7th grader now, but it's funny because I said that when I called his name to come up and receive his, his award or whatnot. I told him, I said, this guy is so bright. Not saying, take anything away from any other students that I have because they all are, bright.
Yep.
But this guy, I actually can he actually will check me and say point of information. You know what I mean? Like he actually will check me and say, point of order. Like he'll do that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy because then I'll start talking and then I'm like, well, I'll appeal the ruling of the chair. You know what I mean? And
Does
then
the
it's
rest of the
funny
class
because
catch on and run
some
with
of them do. Some of them do because sometimes we'll watch Congress and we'll hear what they say. Sometimes we'll watch city council meetings.
Mhm.
Sometimes we'll watch our meetings, and they because a lot of them want to see Mr. Clack. They want to see what Mr. Clack is doing. Like you say you're this, Mr. Clack, show us. So we watch a lot of real live politics in my class. So these are sixth graders I'm talking about now. So
Now, I've been in your class and you told me you're real with these kids.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's a teacher talk. Then I get there and you're like, no, nothing's off limits. I'm like, okay. Any other person, I'd say, all right, you're watching city council with sixth graders. That's a lot of content that maybe they're not ready for. However, meeting you, knowing you, and then meeting your class, I think they can handle it.
Oh, they definitely
Anywhere
can.
else, so I'd be like, oh no, these kids are getting so many bad habits. I'm willing to bet, someone's going to pick a fight or because that's what they see at city council. But your students, I think you prepared them for it.
I try, and it's funny because they'll come in and they say, well, Mr. Clack, they watch me sometimes. They watch school board meetings sometimes just to see.
I shouldn't yell in the YouTube comments and my bad, kids.
No. They, they understand because we watch Congress too. We watch city council too. So, the thing about it is that I stress to them is you don't have to agree with someone, but you do have to respect them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to agree. There's nothing that says I have to agree with anything that anybody says, but out of just pure respect for a person, you're gonna be respectful. You know what I mean? Like as a beating heart, you're gonna be respectful to him, and I believe that. You know what I mean? That's not to say that if I'm put in a situation where I feel I'm disrespected, those feelings can't be reciprocated because I can throw them right back. But I'm just not a disrespectful person, and I teach my students that way too. Like it's not about you disagreeing. They don't have to agree with you. They don't have to vote how you vote. They don't have to do that. They have their right to do what they want to do, but you do have to be respectful.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like, I may not agree with you and you may have given me some disrespect and I'm going to give it back. However, I'm still going to respect that you're a human being. That there are different levels and your kids definitely, I walked into that class expecting to teach him something about the military. And instead your kids were less, well, they were still learning, but they were still teaching me lessons about things and how their little minds work. Because there are some oddball questions.
Like, no, they know.
I expect that from a 20-something-year-old, not a sixth grader.
They know. We've gone and researched how many, boots on the ground the China's army. I think we went over. I think we told you that in class, and how many people that Israel have in their in their military. So they know. You know what I mean? Like these are things that I would be teaching. I used to teach seniors in high school, so these are things that we would do for projects and stuff like that. But the information I still give out to, it's still teaching. So I still teach it the same, teach the same way. So
you just might have to baby step
just a little. Yeah, I got to kind of water it down just a little bit. But then again, you saw them. I don't water down too much for them. You know what I mean?
Like one of the kids asked me, had you killed anyone before? And I looked at you. I'm like, God, do I answer this? And the first thing Clack goes is, you can answer it. They're big kids. Oh, okay. Like, I was not expecting that from these kids. Most of them are more like, well, what's the pay like? Which I did hear that from your students, which is cool. Letting them know that if you sign that piece of paper, you're getting ripped off for several years of your life.
Right.
But so then, as you're the not just school board member, but president of the school board, how often do you have to deal with like the city and them? Some of their issues and how often they bring them to your door, or some of your issues that they bring to their own door?
At this point, not very much. I don't know if that's so much by choice or, so much just the way things are designed, but me personally, I haven't had very much interaction with the city. I haven't really needed to, you know what I mean? Like we've got our own budget. We've got, we've got our own members that we can make our own decisions with. But certain things, like when we had to, we just did the renaming of the library a couple weekends ago. We did have to work with the city. I had, with them on that. You know what I mean? They had the city council had to pass the same. They had to vote on the changing the name as well, just like we did. You know what I mean? So, but not so much directly hand to hand. You know what I mean?
Okay. And say the county about the same thing.
I haven't had to deal with the county. That's not saying that I don't reach out to them, every now and then, but I haven't, not as far as school board.
It's never been like an absolute mandatory, I must go talk with the county type.
Not so far, not as of yet, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm honestly sitting here going, maybe he doesn't need that 500 pill bottle of Tylenol.
No.
You've got your own problems. But
no, but and what I will say is I do want to give a shout out to the school board because, we've had some rough patches. Mm-hmm. They've had some rough patches before, but if you paid attention to the last couple of meetings, they've been a lot smoother. You know what I mean? And it may be because it's 7 new personalities that are coming together at once for the first time, and everybody's got this, what they want to, see this done and this done and this done in their own time frame or whatever, however the situation may be. I think that, we don't vote together on everything. We don't agree on everything, but I think, the civility is, trying to peek through the clouds a little bit, so to speak. But I got another year and a half on here, so we'll,
Yeah. And then some of the other school, like, what was it, a 2-year seat, and the rest were
4 and 6.
Oof. That's going to be a long run for some of them.
Yeah, I think it. It's Trustee Teray King is that the 4-year seat, if I'm not mistaken, and Treasurer Luna and Secretary Perkins and Trustee Melody Rutherford are on the 6-year seats.
So, what are the other 2 seats?
Dr. Joyce and
No.
Vice President McNeil and Trustee McIntyre. Yeah.
What are their seats?
I believe they're on 6-year terms. I believe. Okay. Yeah. So I believe that they've got maybe 2.5 years in to their terms. I believe.
Yeah, trying to.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I think is going on.
I usually call them Mick and Mac, but I'm not going to directly say that today because, number one, you're here.
It's your show,
True enough. However, what I say can reflect on you. And number 2,
I appreciate that.
Number 2, they haven't popped up on my radar as much, so I'm hoping they're getting some of their stuff under control. If they start, I don't want to say behaving because they're not children,
right?
They're grown ass people, and I will respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as things stay civil, then I can back up a little bit with some of the vitriol and just get to normal critiques.
People's voting. You don't have to be disrespectful to vote a certain. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying. You've seen some of our meetings. They get kind of heated at times. So, some topics have come up, and it's like, I'm just a stickler for this, and I'm just, I'm not going to allow this. But again, I'm still learning how to run a meeting, so to speak. You know what I mean?
One thing I have to say about your meetings, attending them is torture for me. Those chairs are not forgiving.
No, especially the ones in the audience. But the ones that we sit in there, like I looked up the other day, and it's like we started here. We had a 4:00 closed session, and then we had the meeting started at 6:30. So, in between that, Holmes' graduation was started at 6. So after the closed session, I took off, got on the highway, and ran over to Holmes for their graduation. Watched the procession. Took a couple pictures, and then I jetted back over to the south side to our board meeting. It started at 6:30, and then I just remember I'm looking up and I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Jones, it's like 8:30." And before I knew it, it was 10:25, and we're still sitting there. You know what I mean? About to adjourn, but still, it was a long day yesterday. Wednesday. I'm sorry.
And you had a class before that,
mm-hmm.
You don't catch a lot of rest.
Well, school is out now.
But before that. You went and picked up your daughter from college
in Virginia.
So you drove all the way down there. You drove all the way back. School the very next day. Board meeting maybe finally some rest, and then all that running around Wednesday.
Then I took her to DC 10 days later.
Which
I took her to DC.
Proud dad moment. Let's just go ahead and let you brag about what she's doing there.
No, this is my daughter is actually this is her second year interning for Congress, but this year she is an intern for Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. So
she's getting I'm ready to write her name on a vote. Or
she doesn't have any desire to be in politics. I don't know why or how. And she's. But then again, at that age, I was saying the same thing too.
Maybe she doesn't want to do the elected side of politics and wants to do the business side.
Right. She's going into law.
Campaign, running the office while whoever's elected is out there voting. She's out there making sure everything's getting done for them to vote, which also a very admirable thing to do.
Right.
Well, that's
congratulations.
Thank you. No, yeah, I'm definitely proud.
I mean, I got to give you a chance to brag about that.
I'm proud. No, she knows I'm proud. She definitely does.
And then your son, obviously big into sports.
Right. Very much.
I wonder why he got into sports.
I don't know.
I don't think you played sports, did you?
Just football, track. Okay, I wasn't too much into basketball. My son plays basketball way better than I did,
I see him playing football, though. I see you out
there. Oh yeah. No, we
training montages.
Yeah.
Pop up on Facebook.
Yeah. This year I told him we're gonna start going to the beach and he's gonna be running in the sand and running in the water, knee-high water. So yeah.
You'll still put it on Facebook.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Like at one point in my head it's going poor kid. At the next point I'm going poor other kids that are gonna be competing against him.
Well, yeah, you get in what you put out.
Very true.
I mean, you get out what you put in.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, he's probably looking at a scholarship here in a few years.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
That's the plan. Even if he just plays for the love of the game. But wow.
No, we want to get paid. We want to get paid.
Oh yeah, of course. But, so, all of that, and you being the product of Flint, there's things you see around, wrong around here that from any level of government, from federal down to local, or even community watch meetings, do you see that could be addressed better?
Oh well, wow! Let's open the window.
That's a bit of everything.
Yeah,
I left that one open.
Let's look out the window. Yeah, so here's the thing, and this didn't just start with this current administration. None of this just started with the previous administration or the one before that. Flint has been on a steady decline for a long time. You know what I mean? And I just happen to, I like to ride around the city at night.
I've called you a few times.
Yeah, I'm just out riding around, just riding around looking at the city. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I happen to ride down, I'm not going to name the street, but it's on the north side. And it's I'm riding down this street off of Saginaw Street. So it's between, I'm up going towards Carpenter Road. So y'all know the area. So I don't have to name the street.
Yeah.
But I'm looking and there are no houses. The houses that are there are just structures. You know what I mean? Nobody's living there. They haven't been lived in years. And it's I'm not the only one that sees this. You know what I mean? The whole... This seems there was a plan to shrink the north side, and it's disgusting. You know what I mean? When I go up there and I see my people having to live a certain way, you know what I mean? And then you go across town and you're like, am I even in Flint?
Yeah. It changes personality pretty quick from street to street here.
Yeah. So, and it's the wealth is definitely, it's so clear that the wealth is not spread fairly. It's, and it's why can't we just do right? Why can't we just look at it everybody in Flint is a resident of Flint? Everybody has to pay taxes. Why can't everybody have a fair shake at everything? You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot that I see that I would do differently. But then again, I'm not a supreme being. You still got to have votes. You know what I mean? You still got to have people to, support. But the road, look at just coming in here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I complain about that road all the time.
Right. And it's like, come on, man. Then we got Miller Road that's been done twice. Maybe 1.5 times. So I don't know how many times it's been, but it's like now their cones back up, and I was riding up like, what is going on?
Yeah, you've seen the size of some of them holes.
Yeah.
I could take my child, either one of my children, and stand them in one of those potholes. It comes up to about their knees. If this was just done in October,
right?
Kind of a waste of money to me.
Who are the people that drive by and say, "Hey, y'all aren't doing this right"?
Yeah.
And here's the thing that pisses me off. Excuse me but it pisses me off. Mm-hmm. What those big machines that they got, like the steamroller with the big? Where are those? When the last time you saw one of those? Yeah.
I seen one on highway going toward Detroit a while ago, but
I mean, like, I just, it's like, who are the people that go and oversee the people that are doing the roads, or who are those people, and how are they holding these other people accountable that's doing the work?
Yeah, like it's our without.
Thanks, Philip.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know.
So our executive branch, no matter who's sitting there, it is their job to execute what the city council says to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
The executive branch is supposed to have the tool to make sure this gets done properly, and it seems like that tool has been removed from the executive branch, or they aren't using it, whatever. Because you're right, there should have been someone inspecting to make sure that this got done properly the first time months ago and saved us a couple $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, my wallet's not getting any fatter, and our economy's not getting any better. You can't tax me so much more.
Mm-hmm. It seems like the price of everything is going up. Everything's going up, but the pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like $4.50 for some eggs, man. $3.50 for a gallon of gas.
I know someone who thought that he was striking it rich because he bought himself several hens a couple months back.
Yeah, no, if we weren't living in the city, I probably would have me a couple chickens too.
Just don't have a rooster so they don't, crow in the morning.
Right.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, that man is saving probably about $40 a month in eggs alone. He's thinking about getting a cow now. Oh, dude, not in a city, not in any city. Don't do that to your neighbors.
Yeah.
So all that is to say, you and I came to an agreement a little bit earlier, right? Before we came on air, we've divested a lot of our personalities on 810 because one of our biggest things is we want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is we need personalities. So me and Wintus always being paired up doesn't really grow the platform.
Okay.
And I asked you if you'd like to come on a weekly show with me. And you said?
Of course.
There we go. So giving a background as to why you may say or do some of the things you do and why you view things the way you view them gives people an insight as to, well, that's why he's saying this, instead of just an arbitrary, feet in cement stance of, oh, it's this, so he's going to say no. There's a reason Mr. Clack says no, and there may be reasons why he blows your mind and goes the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
What I will say is, I pride myself in being a transparent, honest person. So I will openly speak about what I can openly speak about.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna jump out and say, "Oh yeah," that's not me.
You can't be me and just throw out cuss words every 5 minutes. For one, and for two, you can't just get crazy with some of the things that
because your mouth, no, but even business going on with the school district that I'm this privileged information. I'm not.
You can't spill those beans because
of course
they're confidential for a reason. There's closed sessions for a reason, and I understand that. I'm very happy that you don't make every session a closed session.
No, I don't. If you know me, I do not like closed sessions. I don't for more reasons than one. But I do understand that dealing with people's pay and specifics like that, and going in with legal with anything like that, right? So I understand, but just to go and just discuss things, I don't like it because the public needs to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. The public needs to hear what's going on. So
I'd like to know where my tax dollars are going.
I would like to tell you,
but
that's
what open meetings are for.
Right.
I'm so happy to see that the closed meeting status is not being abused there.
No, and another thing is you can't. You can take notes, but you have to leave them there. You can't take them out. So it's like, why am I taking notes then? Because I can't look them over later on. So it's just I'm just not really a fan of the closed session. I understand, I know why, but I would rather be open about it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's with any session or any branch of government. City council has to have them for certain things. State, and they drive me nuts lately. State is just.
Well, maybe one of these days somebody will get down there and try to drive them straight.
Maybe. And then we could definitely use a state senator actually from Flint. But Mr. Cherry's not a bad guy. We'll wait till he retires and we'll start propping someone up.
I like Mr. Cherry.
You know what? He did that pension pay that he brought the money here that our state rep, without trying to be negative, overlooked or wasn't there for whatever reason, and he called an entire bill back and said, "No, this is broken. Yeah. Flint needs attention." I give him 100% props for that. And then certain ways he's voted on other things that I'm passionate about, I sit there and go, "Brian, why, dude?" No, his name's not Brian, is it?
No.
I was thinking about a Cherry from the Army.
John. Right?
Yeah, John. Yeah, I was thinking Brian Cherry, but no, John, why? Stop. It's a mixed bag, but when you actually start looking at issues over people, and you realize that not everyone's going to vote the exact same way every single time, that is a big deal.
Of course it is.
Like, it's instead of looking at someone as just their political party and instead looking at them as a human, you realize that, hey, there's a lot of agency here at play instead of just who's paying what bill and what lobby. I mean, granted, you can tell a lot, follow the money. At the same time, someone that's their own person, okay, I have no idea what this guy's going to do. I feel like I can write him.
I'll tell you this. It takes a lot to stand up and vote for what, the way that you really believe in, and not just fall in line. You know what I mean? Like it and sometimes when I'm voting on things, it's like, I don't want to make anybody mad, but I don't want to piss anybody off. But it's like, I honestly vote the way that I feel is right when I'm voting on things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not, I'm not a political career politician or anything like that. So I've made some mistakes and I've regretted some of the votes that I've made. I'm probably gonna mess up, and I don't want to say mess up, but I probably will regret a few more votes. You know what I mean? A
few more voters' remorse moments.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, what I do want the audience to know is that I try to do it in an honest and open way that I think is right. That especially because, like, me being from here, I want to see the Flint schools come back and be the way, a somewhat, residual look like how they used to look. You know what I mean? I just remember it used to be so much fun, football games on Fridays and, basketball games on Thursdays and, and stuff like that. And I mean, like citywide. Yeah. Just northern and southwestern, northern and northwestern, central and northern, it was just, these kids won't experience that camaraderie or that rivalry, or, they just won't. And that's those, I remember when, I'm showing my age now, but watching, this is Mateen Cleaves and Robert Smith come over to Southwestern and play basketball, and we had to rent bleachers and put them under the basketball hoops, and it was just that many people that were at the game. And then they had to start having the games over here at the IMA Sports Arena, showing my age again, the Dort Federal, or is it the Pirani or whatever it's called over here? Dort Federal. Okay, yeah. So
I don't get to visit often, no. I got it.
So yeah, but they started having games there, and it just band competitions and choir competitions, and it was just a lot that the Flint schools had, and it's just now it's just not there anymore. And it's not our board, it's not the previous board, it's this is stuff that's been going on for, of course, decades, right? So, but it's just to see what the Flint schools have come to. But On the contrary, we did reopen up Doyle Ryder. It is a beautiful campus now. I mean, it was already cutting edge before when it was, but they had some, I don't want to say cutting edge, but it was the newest, school that looked, it had a distinct look to it, but now the inside is just as better than the outside. The inside, you guys got to get over and see it. Well, Mickey, you were there. Yeah, it's a nice school. It is very nice.
How many students are you gonna move from other schools to that one? Like, are we looking at, because we only have so many students, and so thankfully we're not going to have as many crowded classrooms. This is going to open that up a bit.
Mhm.
And I spoke earlier about it. There's a pro and a con on this. So we're going to look at the pro, which is we're not putting our kids in classrooms like sardines anymore.
Mhm.
At least because of this, it's going to loosen up a little bit and get us closer to that optimal student to teacher ratio.
Well, we still need teachers though. That's the thing. It's like the room side. It wasn't. It was.
Right, now
we have a
student. Now we need the teacher part of
So
that
I mean,
ratio.
we'd love to have more students too. That would force us to go out and get more. But we still need teachers and
Step in the right direction. Is a step in the
right. Direction. But now, the kids were like, "Why can't we start school today?" You know what I mean? Like it just like a new school is. It just people want to be a part of it. They want to sit in a new classroom on new chairs and smell.
The first one to sit there.
Right, smell new wood and new paint. You know what I mean? Like they're excited about it. I'm excited about it. Everybody who was there who saw it is excited about. You know what I mean? And like the way that they incorporate the big dragon that's hanging from the stop. The scales on the floor in some of the classrooms and on the walls. Like it's they really did a good job. Shout out to Clark Construction. But yeah, and that was shout out to the previous board because that was their deal. They did that. You know what I mean? But we need to do more schools, all of them. You know what I mean? Like we need to consolidate.
Not just a facelift, but a life lift.
Right.
Most of these schools. My kids went to DTM because we fought for that, and
Mm-hmm.
this kind of goes into what Philip just asked. He asked, "Is it cool in the heat and warm in the cold? Does it have climate controls in there?"
Yes.
And now we just need to start working. Me as a taxpayer, I know my job here is to pay my damn taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I hate taxes. I do. However, when it comes to schools and I know what's getting done and it's like on the up and up, I know where that money is going, I will gladly pay my taxes to make sure that these kids get AC for the summer and then heat for the winter, but not too much heat in the winter because that's been a problem before too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, everything that's in this school is state of the art. Everything in this way is what is it? Efficient.
So energy efficient,
all of that.
So it's going to cost you less to run this school than just to have this property.
Everything is state of the art.
Wow, that's pretty nifty.
Everything is state. That's why I said, if you haven't been, you need to go and see. Mickey saw. It's a nice, very nice.
This summer, I'll give you a call. Yeah. Like, hey, can you pull that string and give me a tour of this school because this sounds pretty neat.
I wish you could have come. When was that? Saturday.
Saturday, I was trying to work some things out with some Army buddies, but so my youngest is going to graduate next year.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest is also graduating next year from the 5-year program at Mott Middle College. My youngest is in a charter school here. So now I've got basically no real ties to the community schools here. I'm hoping someday I'll have grandchildren, though, and the foundation laid now will flourish into a castle that I can put these kids into. My kids are going to have to deal with Grandpa Trevor saying, no, I worked hard to get these schools. I worked with people. I screamed, shouted, and yelled. Mm-hmm. I made sure the taxes did things. And you're moving back here, and you're putting the kid through this blessed school. I will fight my kids for that one.
Right.
I'll probably lose, but you know what?
So what I do want to say is that I know a lot of people, I don't respond a lot on Facebook. I don't, but
I mean, let's face it, Facebook's internet and internet is forever.
Right. But people still, it's a platform for people to say what they want to say, to get out and share their thoughts. So I see a lot of it and I'm like, man, like we're trying, man. Like we have done, in the 6 months that I've been the president, and we have managed to do. The parking lots at the schools are being done.
Yeah.
We did vote 7-0 to rename the library, to the Gloria Coles Library. We also we're going to start the demolition of Washington School. And
I think the big deal is from the outside looking in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the eye-catching, eye-popping things are usually what people consider bad.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the misstep with what happened with Mr. King.
Yeah,
that's going to catch attention.
That one hurt right there. That one hurt.
Understandably, and then a lot of the arguments, the back and forth, and the accusations. That's what catches our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really see the good work going in that you guys put forward, because those things are bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, let's you were going through all of that is good. What more?
Of course, we want more. I
want to see this list, because you guys have done a lot of good work.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it got done, I don't necessarily agree with how these teachers got paid.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very happy that they are getting a little bit of catch-up pay, like they damn well deserve.
Of course, they deserve a lot more too, because we're steadily losing teachers.
Like I said, a little bit, not all of what they need,
mm-hmm.
but it's at least something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the positive steps. In my mind, it's kind of like a step forward, step back at the same time, because the budget wasn't balanced proper. But that's not your guys' fault. That's last area's fault.
We got a new CFO. This guy is great. I mean, really? He presented Wednesday. Shout out to CFO Mr. Jones. He's from the River Rouge, from down that area. He's worked with a lot of different school districts, down River Rouge and Willow Run, Ypsilanti, down that way. A couple different school districts down that way. But just to hear him present and the passion that he presented, and the meticulous way that he was. I mean, you can tell that the guy's got over 30 years worth of experience, and he knows what he's talking about.
I can't wait to see the budget he presents you guys, and then the feedback you give him. Yeah, we might get a balanced budget and books in our students' hands.
No, we adopted a budget on Wednesday.
Oh,
well, no. Well, we'll adopt it this coming Wednesday. Yeah, right. So but he right, of course. So, but yeah, he did. He presented and went through line items and explained things and and broke it down to where people ask questions, but I didn't really have to ask a whole lot of questions.
Said the holy words to me, line items. Whenever I hear of a government budget and they're presenting the line items up front and transparent, I'm sitting there going, oh.
Yeah.
Clouds parting, angels singing, sunshine raining down.
Yeah, like nobody, and that's not to say that Dr. Wolf wasn't, but it's just the way that we've got this is who we have now, and
different approaches work different ways,
right?
And this approach is more akin to what people in Flint have been asking for, whereas Mr. Wolf might have been adequate, but
Miss Wolf,
my bad. Miss Wolf might have been adequate, but the way we, as the citizenry of Flint, have seen it, we didn't quite see it that way. We may not agree on that. So when you say things like line item it goes into meticulous detail. I'm sitting here like, oh my God, because I always love to know where money is going. I'm a nosy son gun. And when it comes to government money, I want to know where every cent's gone.
Of course.
Right? Okay. Now I have to go through. This should be up on the website. I should be able to see the proposed budget right now. Should be able to. But some things kind of get held back here and there, administrative side, obviously.
No, I believe I don't want to say because I haven't looked. But no, it is. I believe it is, yeah.
I mean, I told you before we went live, I've been addicted to a certain video game lately. I can't draw myself away from it. So I'm going to have to slap myself later tonight and be like, all right, dude, go take a look. Print it out. And while I'm printing, actually, I got 2 screens screwed. I'll play it and read at the same time.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about Mr. Jones. I really am.
Good. And so we're starting to fill in some of those vacancies now.
One. Yeah.
There's obviously more. We can hope that those will get fixed soon. I mean, obviously, well, no, that isn't a board part, but the administration has got to have their feelers out. They've got to have, job openings, and they got to be scouring through resumes that have come in so far, at least.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, as far as I know, yeah. But, Mr. Jones is being like 3 or 4 people right now. So,
man of many hats.
So, yeah. So, we do have support from ISD. But, of course, we'd like to
be self-sufficient.
Of course.
I mean, I'd rather us be in charge of our own things, our own money, our own personnel records. Holy hell. Because someone else, like just a bad handoff, can cause chaos. Oh, well, I was holding these records and putting them X, Y, and Z way. And then the next person's like, okay, I'm putting them A, B, C. And then back to X, Y, Z. And now you've got who got a pay raise where and doing what and when, where, right? Causes headaches. Yeah. And we've already got so many headaches with just politics being politics. We don't need extra. You know what I mean?
No, but I believe, you know what I mean? I have faith, but I do believe, I've got confidence that we're gonna continue and do some better work, but you're gonna do good work though. I really do.
I'm let down in some areas so far, but it isn't necessarily just you or just Mr. Luna, because if it was, like I said earlier, praise in public and chastise or correct in private. And I stole that from Mr. Pfeiffer. I think that's the only thing I agreed with him earlier this week. And I haven't reached out to you and said, Mike, you did done screwed up.
But I have gotten those calls. You know what I mean? Like I've gotten, shout out to Art Woodson, but he, when I piss him off, it's like I'll get a call. You know what I mean? I shout out to, who else has called me? Mr. Dumas has called me. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, man? You know what I mean? Like, so my number is out there in public for a reason. Like, I'm not the type of person that you can't catch up with. You know what I mean? Like, you can call me if I'm busy. I won't answer, and but I'll call back. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do appreciate the feedback and the constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Because again, this is my first time being an elected official, so I would like to continue to serve. So if I don't listen to the people, or you know what I mean, then it's not gonna happen. So
even if you vote every single way that pleases all people all at once,
somebody's still gonna be.
If you just ghost them, I mean, even if 100% of the population was happy with how you voted, but you don't exist, you're not getting that vote.
Right.
And it isn't all about votes. Community first, always. But when you have someone that's actually doing community first, and you don't trust, say, another person to come in and do it, you got to work for those votes too. So it's kind of like a balancing act, Well, at least in terms of your time, not in terms of your vote. Because I know you're just going to vote how you feel is right rather than be pressured into it.
Yeah. And then again, we're privileged to more information that, we're able to get out to the public. Even if we wanted to sit here and get everything out, it takes so long. So,
you probably got a laundry list of things.
Oh yeah. I'd love to see done with the district. Want me to talk about a few?
Sure. I mean, please.
So my dream it would be to have the driver's training. It's not a track, but the driver's training.
That course.
The course. There you go.
Yeah.
Driver's training course over at Northwestern. Redone, probably enlarged a little bit. I don't know how far back behind the stadium and back into that.
Just hit the property line.
Yeah, we need to go all the way back. Turn it into of course, driver's training, but also maybe a police mini station there, maybe even CDL training there, maybe even motorcycle license. Maybe
As someone who's ridden before but never got my endorsement, is just riding around on a learner's permit.
Me too. I'm the same person.
Right? Like, it would be nice to have a open public place. Granted, obviously chuck a few dollars at, but instead of the overpriced private ones around here, like I've looked at some of these places. Now I don't have a bike yet. I've been looking at it, and I can't afford like $600-700 for a 3-week class. I barely looked at my youngest. She's going through Schedule 1 driver's training right now. Private side, because her school doesn't offer. $450. And that's standard rate. Like, honestly, that law that our kids have to go through driver's ed to get their learner's permit, whereas other states, you just get the pamphlet, go through the rules, take the learner's permit test. That's it. It's like a $25 process. As compared to here, 400 and some odd, and we still have some of the worst driving records in the country, talking about statewide here, and some of the highest insurance rates because of that.
I want to say the highest.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say, I'm not, don't quote me on that, but I want to say the highest in the country.
Right, so like this law that was intended to make everyone a safer driver and lower insurance over time has failed. In my mind, it needs to be struck down and done away with. It's failed at its job. It cost me more money. It cost everyone else more money, more time. Most kids are just skipping it now, turning 18 and going and getting their just straight license anyway. So what's the purpose of this?
You know, I don't know. I would love to see some statistics, you know, some hard data before I started this, you know, because me personally, I think that you do need some sort of training. But I would love to see statistics from another state that doesn't require, and see if their rate of their accident rate for teenagers, would see what that would look like.
You know what? Next week I'll bring you in Arizona's rates, which are still going to be skewed in a weird way because you've got a lot of drivers of the same age coming across the border, especially where I live.
Of course.
You know, most of my friends in high school weren't even U.S. residents. Just being honest with you. Granted, my school will always deny that because they weren't supposed to have people from Agua Prieta coming to our school. But, you know, whatever. But I still remember accident rates being low enough that my parents could afford 4 vehicles on our insurance, with my mother being a nurse and my dad operating a pest control business that wasn't really profitable. So, I mean...
Yeah.
Whereas here, me and my wife were struggling to make insurance payments on a 2002 Buick LeSabre and a GMC 1996 GMC Jimmy, because the insurance rates are so high because of the accidents. Oh my god!
And theft. And break-in. I mean, you know, so
it's so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
yes,
there's
crime definitely.
Then depending on what kind of car you get, because if you want like one of these nice little fast Dodges, I can only imagine what the insurance looks like on one of those cars.
Especially for like a 16 to 24-year-old.
Be impossible to pay that. Well, not impossible, but impossible for me to want to pay that, especially at that age. I wonder, you know, at a 43-year-old man, I wonder how much it would be. But
it depends if you buy straight out or not.
Right.
It really does pile up. There are times where I can be a lead foot.
No, I am getting no more speeding tickets. I can't even go back to Virginia for some of it. So I want you to have no more speeding tickets. That's why I got me that slow Cherokee outside. It's slow.
I mean, I'll tell you what, there was a good period in time in Douglas, Arizona, where every cop knew me because they knew I was, as soon as they turned their head, was going to speed. I'm pretty sure I funded half that city's budget on just speeding tickets for a year.
Man, let me tell you this. This is a story that no one knows. So I lived in Virginia Beach. As you know, I lived in Virginia, went to Norfolk State. And I was heavy. This is right around the time when Fast and Furious came out. And this is, you know, Biker Boys came out. So at the time, I had a tuner car, you know, and I had a couple motorcycles. So there was one time I was on my way to class. I lived in Virginia Beach and my school was in Norfolk. I'll make it short. So I was
just thinking Norfolk, there's all the Navy boys there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm riding. I leave out of my subdivision and I'm riding down the street and I see some guys doing construction. I hit a wheelie and I'm riding a wheelie down the street. Police see me, they jump behind me and they pull me over and they say, this is what they say, Mr. Clack. They know my name. Mr. Clack, I want you to take that bike home. I'm not going to take you to jail today. I want you to take that bike home. walk it down the sidewalk all the way home. So I walked it down the sidewalk, about a half mile into the subdivision, into my house. Jumped on a different bike, went right back by the same cop, hit a wheelie again, jumped on the highway. So yeah, no more. I've done, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that though.
Yeah.
I did what you said, malicious compliance.
Right. I came right back with a different bike and
He
did the
didn't say
same
no more
thing.
bikes, he
Did the
just said that
same
bike.
thing. Yeah. Did the same thing.
Oh man.
My young dumb days, man.
Yeah, we've all had them. But I'm really excited to have, because you and I were talking prior and looking at not just local.
My bad. I forgot. Let me finish up because I wanted to. I some things I wanted to see when I'm just doing Northwestern. I forgot.
Oh yeah, man.
I forgot.
We hit
so,
tangent after tangent. All right, yeah.
I would love to see Houston Stadium remodeled. I would love to see Houston Stadium completely redone. No more grass. You know, we want real. You know, that's not AstroTurf anymore, but the with the new stuff. You know what I mean? I would love to see new bleachers, and this is home side and away side bleachers as well, because this is we would love to keep some of the riffraff down. So I would love to see. Well, the track is fine, but the track needs to be repainted. I would love to see new PA system, new press box. Enlarge the the whole everything, but
So you want a true athletics field instead of
I want a complex.
There we go.
I would love to see a complex there. And me personally, I would think that the complex, the new school, the remodel schools, a new school, I really want a new school, would draw people in if we get our early childhood back to capacity, would draw students in, you know what I mean? So those are just a couple of things I would love to see done, and I would love to be a part of. If we could do something like that,
incentive pay for new teachers.
I would love to. I would love to see the teachers get paid exactly what they want, and then nobody even thought we were doing. We did, this wasn't us, but the board before us, they did the parapros, and then they got paid a little bit more, and we appreciate the parapros because trust me, we could not, without parapros, but. The principals want their money. The teachers want their money. Nobody said anything about the secretaries.
Yeah.
You cannot have a school at all without a secretary.
That's part of the support staff that I ranted about when I was at your board meeting.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we've got our students, main focus. We've got our teachers, which support our students. Then we got everything in the background that support our teachers.
Yep.
So yeah, our secretaries could.
You can't.
That school doesn't work.
Here. My dad told me when I first started teaching. He said, "Look, you got to be cool with the secretary. If you want your job to run smoothly, you got to get cool with the secretary. Like you have to, and that's the honest to God truth. Because if the secretary don't like you, it's gonna be rough for you.
Yeah, and then all the work she does. Well, usually but all the work they do.
They do, yeah.
Right. And then to pile on top of that, students hardly ever respect them. And then teachers, when they come in, or not teachers, parents, when they come in with a bad attitude, if something happened with their kid, first person they see.
The first line of defense is a secretary.
Yep.
Because you got to come in and check in with them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, they also, we got some work to do. You know what I mean? So I would love to see everybody get paid exactly what they want. You know what I mean?
Our janitorial staff.
Of course.
I mean, there's only so much cleaning a teacher can do while they're trying to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go home at some point. Janitorial staff keeping the place clean and just death-free for our students and teachers have to be respected.
Right.
And
right.
I doubt they're getting paid what they should be. But at the same time, there's budget constraints and there's a lot of wage constraints. And sometimes they just get overlooked because everyone goes, it's a janitor,
Yeah. Yeah, no. So I had to get that out before we moved on. I don't know how much time we got left, but I had to get that out. Like there's a couple things that I just would love to see done. There's a few more, but I can answer a question real quick.
So all that is to say, you and I, we respect each other. At least I respect you, and you've said you respect me. You've never given me a reason to doubt that.
Mm-hmm.
So we respect each other. we may see things differently in politics, which is fine because once again we respect each other and we can say agree to disagree.
Of course.
And we've got a whole world of politics out there, and I like to play, political games. I really love politics; it interests me, and you're kind of steeped in them. Your family's been in politics. You're in politics now, and your daughter is running around with some of the most powerful people in the country, in the world, actually. So we've got, local politics, we've got state politics, and we've got federal politics. And you and I can go back and forth, or even break something down and see our different perspectives on it to show to Flint. And all of this is an introduction as to we know candidate Clack, we know school board Clack. Now we've got host Clack. And this is just introducing host Clack.
Well, we did have host Clack before because I had my own podcast before. I just
but this didn't get it.
Right. I was like, I didn't have the viewers that I thought. I didn't have the, so I'm like, I ain't doing this, man. I'm done. This is but yeah. No,
10. This is much better.
To answer your question, Shardy, next September of 2024.
Oh yeah.
Is when
when the slapped with that with what they were looking at for the ARPA, right? Withdrawing a lot of funds.
No, we still got time.
I mean, that would be suicide for them to try to take it away from schools. God, schools in
this
this country.
But at the end of the day, we have to act on that. So that means the board has to, figure out what we want to do and do it. Spend the money. We don't spend it. It don't get done and it goes back. So
you'd be surprised on my online gaming circles, especially playing squad lately. I like to make a joke to people. I was in the Army. I can't read. And then someone goes, they'll bounce around with that. And I go, oh, well, I'm a product of American school systems. I can't read.
Yeah.
Them to pull those funds away from schools would be horrible because this is a national level problem. This isn't just Flint specific. Our schools are falling behind the rest of the world everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I think we just lost perspective, man.
I think with so many, here's the thing. I think our generation, and I think our generation is a special generation because we were raised with like old school values, but we still are young enough to understand the new school, the newer, younger generations. I still remember black and white TVs. I remember I was the remote for the TV at one point, like get up there and turn the thing on, you know what I mean? But I still am here, we got cell phones and, whatever. So I think that over time, taking so many or putting so many rights in and taking so many rights away, I'm not saying that we need to bring back, corporal punishment, the paddle back to the classroom, but
I mean, some students maybe not a paddling, right? But detention don't quite get it.
No.
However, if you
suspension doesn't quite get it.
If you give them a bucket and say you're picking up trash after school for 30 minutes and here's your escort, hey, they'll learn because no one wants to touch nasty chewed up bubble gum.
No.
Well, now you've got a pair of gloves, you're going to do it anyway. And take away your time, make you work a bit. I'm always at work. You can always go back to what they did to me in the Army. Push-ups and sit-ups and planks and burpees.
I make my kids go outside and pick up the trash. Like when they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I tell them like, and again, this is nothing towards the janitors or, but if y'all don't want to get your education, I'm going to show you what your life's going to be like. So we're going to go out here. We're going to pick up this trash.
I mean, yeah, there are far worse occupations than being a custodian, a janitor. However, there are some that no one ever thinks of being a custodian first, unless it's something like Royal Palace, Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, I didn't want to
mind cleaning that place.
That sounded bad when I said that. That was, again, that's not a shot towards any, what I mean? But it's like, come on, man. Like, you need to get this education so you can, you need to learn this stuff.
There's far different things you can be doing, but if you don't get your stuff together, you aren't going to go into what you wanted to go to in the first place. I mean, no one should take that as a shot because, hell, I know I hardly pick up after myself when I'm in a funk, my wife is my custodian, right? And she don't get paid enough for that.
Ooh, you said it out loud.
Right.
You said it out loud. You're gonna be on the couch.
She takes care of me. She is a hell of a woman. Let's get that straight. And then the rest of the time, I'm the house cleaning. So, well, let's get out of here, everyone. Let's say welcome to Mr. Clack to the 810, host Clack to the 810 platform. All right, boss.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.